There's Purdy in the gun. 3 receivers left. Kittle, Jennings, Debo from in to out. Ayuk is right. Purdy back. Time. Steps around from DeMarcus Lawrence. Throws for the end zone. Caught by George Kittle. Touchdown! San Francisco!
Boy, what a start. First drive for this offense.
They got CeeDee Lamb, the number 3 receiver inside. Now he goes in motion right, followed by Isaiah Oliver. 49ers are tipping man on 3rd and 2. Dak back. Plenty of time. Pumps. Now rolls left. Now he's going to get sacked by Fred Warner and Javon Kinlaw. He's getting the ball out of his hands quick against everybody but the Niners. He held the ball way too long. Here's an end around and a flea flicker. Back to Brock Purdy. Takes a shot down the sideline to George Kittle. Kittle all the way to the end zone. Touchdown!
The San Francisco 49ers redeemed themselves with the victory over the Las Vegas Raiders. On today's episode, we're going to recap the game. We got the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're going to review the latest in 49ers news, and we're going to review some grades right here on the Wayne Breezie Show. Smash that like button. Let's get this popping. What's going on, 49er faithful? Make some noise. It's your boy Wayne Breezie, and we live in the building. Let's get it popping, baby. How y'all doing? Welcome to the Wayne Breezie Show. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. It is Monday. It's a great day. It's a victory Monday because it was a victory Sunday, because on Saturday, the San Francisco 49ers defeated, that's right, they defeated the Las Vegas Raiders in their second preseason matchup. And what I loved about this game was it came down to the end, almost like the Madden Sim Challenge. Go figure. Tell you what, man, you got to watch the Madden Sims, man. They right here on the Wayne Breezie channel. Click on one of those Madden Sims videos. Look, every Thursday or Friday, we are here and we are sitting back just watching the computer do their thing. You don't want to miss out on those. I preview every game. We do a Madden Sim for every week of the NFL. So make sure you guys check that out. We got the preseason going on, all right? Thank y'all so much again for tuning in. Shout out to the Breezie Bunch crew. You guys are always in the building. Air horns one time for the crew, baby. Welcome to the show. Make sure you smash that like button. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section because the live chat is always popping. If you guys are those that watch the show afterwards, go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what your take is on some of the things we talk about here on the show. Also, if you're listening to the podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify Podcast, go ahead and leave a comment, leave a review as well. They got a nice little setup for Spotify, so make sure you take advantage of all the cool things they got going on over there on Spotify. Last but not least, make sure you guys subscribe right here to the Wayne Breezie channel. If this is your first time watching, make sure you subscribe. Now, listen, I got all kinds of shows. It's all NFL content based related, so make sure you guys check that out. But we got the What's Your Fantasy Football Show. We have all types of stuff for you guys out there. So make sure you stay locked and loaded. Hit that subscribe button. And last and certainly not least, support me on this channel. Please, you could do that, right? Just by becoming a member of the Breezie Bunch crew. Just click on join and you'll become a member of the crew. If you want the exclusive content, which there is some exclusive content right here as well, you get that with your membership. But if you want the exclusive content, go over to the Patreon, www.patreon.com, and check them out. And last but certainly not least, shout out to our sponsors over at Residency, man. Get your Residency caps, shirts, all that good stuff. I got Residency apparel coming soon, so I can't wait to show you guys that. But you can go to www.residency.com. Make sure you use the number 3 for the second E, residency.com. Use the promo code SFBreezie, and you'll hear that sound where you can save on your total purchase, right? You'll save $5 off your overall purchase. So make sure you guys go ahead, take advantage of the promo code before it runs out. You know, I mean, listen, I love them over there at Residency, but who knows how much they love me. So take advantage of that perk right there. Use that code SFBreezie so you can save on your total purchase. Guys, we got a lot of stuff to get to. Again, shout out to the Breezy Bunch crew, all of you guys out there. Overall, love to you on this beautiful Monday morning, all right? Love to you guys on this Monday morning. All right, let's go ahead and get down. I know a lot of people are like, dang, we got the win. We definitely got the win. Don't forget, August 28th is the release of the rivalry uniforms. August 28th, the 49ers are going to do this rivalry uniform reveal. We know we're wearing this for the last game of the season against the Sea Chickens, all right? So the Seattle Sea Chicken Hawks, we will be wearing. It will be at home. So they're going to come and they're going to feel the taste of the new rivalry uniforms. At this point, I can give two flying cares what they look like, as long as we get that dub. You feel me? All right, so August 28th, we're going to do that reveal. Now, there's some rumors circulating. The 49ers were in on trading for wide receivers. So we thought that the Niners should sign some free agent wide receivers. That's why this is important. Now, per Jordan Schultz, wide receiver John Mechie III has just been traded to the Eagles. Now, from the Texans to the Eagles. Now, he was, per Jordan Schultz, the Niners were the other team, but the Eagles made the better offer. I don't know what the offer is, but it seems like the San Francisco 49ers are looking to add to the wide receiving core. And we're thinking they need to go after free agents. They're looking at players that are expendable on other teams. So it's not over. I'm not saying that the 49ers wide receiving depth chart is set. But I'll tell you what, right now, I loved everything I saw week 2 against the Raiders for the wide receivers. Either the Raiders defensive backs are terrible trash, or the 49ers wide receiving core is just that good. Now, I feel like they need to add. I don't know what the status of Jawan Jennings is going to be. We do know Brandon Ayuk probably won't be looked at to return until week 6. So probably week 8 is where he'll be ramped up, right? Probably, give a good a go. Jawan Jennings is a different breed. Calf injury, something that he's dealing with. Contractual situations going on with Jawan Jennings. So who knows? But the Niners they were looking. According to this report, I'm not saying it's false or whatever, but the Niners were in on the John Mechie III trade, but the Eagles, which the Eagles always make the better offer. I mean, the Niners are willing to spend, $5, and then the Eagles come in with $50. So at the end of the day, I'm going to take the 50. I'm not going to lie. So congratulations, Eagles. You got another wide receiver, and unfortunately, the Niners lost out on that battle right there. Speaking of battle, let's go ahead and get to the injury report from this past week, guys. Injury report. We got to do it. Just thinking about the San Francisco 49ers, and it just seems like every year it's the same damn story, or it's a never-ending story. It just seems like every year. Now, here's the bright side, and I said this on the last episode. The bright side is, and you know what's funny? I said this on Friday's episode, and how ironic was it that our head coach literally took my words verbatim and said it at the presser at the end of the game. He said, and I'm not going to quote, I'm going to paraphrase it because I like what I said better. The good news is these are not season-ending injuries. Now, injuries are injuries, and all injuries are bad, but some injuries are more severe than others. So for the 49ers, these aren't season-ending injuries that they're dealing with. They're nagging injuries. They're injuries. Don't get it twisted. But the good news is, or the bright side is, they're not season-ending. So, yes, is it irritating, faithful? 100%. That our team seems to be the most injury-plagued team since 2017. Yes, there's nothing wrong with feeling that way. But the good news is a lot of the injuries that we're dealing with some of our players, key players, aren't season-ending. All right? They aren't season-ending. So, here we go. Dominic Purdy. I know. I already know. Dominic Purdy I already know it's likely to be a PCL injury. Technically, as a knee injury, one of those ligaments are beat up. I'll leave it at that. Don't know how damaged it is. Don't know. I don't have any medical report on how severe, but it's PCL. It's not the MCL or the ACL. And for those that don't know, we got to look it up because PCL affects either the anterior PCL knee injury. All right. PCL knee injury. It's the posterior cruciate ligament. All right. In the knee, it involves damage to the ligament that connects the thigh bone, which is the femur bone, that's the big bone, to the shin bone, which is the tibia at the back of the knee. All right. This is what it is. This is what he's dealing with if it's PCL, posterior. All right. So big ass thigh bone connectivity to that shin bone in the back of the knee. Oh, man. I think I got all the CL injuries now that I think about it. The way my knees are set up, I just feel like it's a CL smooth type of injury going on for me. But listen, Dominic Pooney, speedy recovery, my guy. We wish you a speedy recovery, man. Heal up, bro. Running back Patrick Taylor Jr. dislocated shoulder. He probably got it popped back in. He did not return to the game. So he probably got it popped back in. And per Kyle Shanahan, these guys are going to miss a few weeks. It just is what it is. No, they're not going to be. I don't think any of these guys are going to be placed on the IR. But right now, they're going to be out for a few weeks. And then last and certainly not least, undrafted free agent, rookie running back Corey Kiner, who had an explosive run. It was like, oh, man, this is probably the best run we saw all day. And when I say explosive, he hit the ground running. It was like the first big inside zone run that we saw. And just like that, this dude, Corey Kiner, had 2 carries for 23 yards in this game. He was averaging 11 and a half yards. Corey Kiner is in contention of replacing that other undrafted free agent running back that we ended up having in Jordan Mason. Unfortunately, he got a high ankle sprain on that run. And so he's going to be out for a few weeks. You know what I'm saying? And, I know, Faithful, listen, it's the story it's the adversity that just follows our organization. And for those that aren't 49er fans and you're watching this show, yes, every organization and team is dealing with injuries for sure. But you cannot relate to the San Francisco faithful, like the 49er faithful, because we go through this this is every season. I think every season we're like, yo, don't practice, don't play preseason, and just show up. That ain't how it works, but that's what we're hoping for because we're worried about losing players for the season. But again, like the good news is these players are not necessarily dealing with season-ending injuries. The Niners clearly right now have not declared any of those players except for the ones that they already placed on the IR. All right, your Trent Taylors, your Amir Abdullahs, Equinemius St. Brown, Curtis Rourke, Andre Dillard, Taron Jackson, and then Bradley Anae. Now, don't get it. He may put Patrick Taylor or Corey Kiner on the IR. We'll see what happens. But as of right now, these players were players that were injured for the game. So, listen, we're praying for all of the players out there and their health. Hopefully they get some speedy recovery. All right, let's wake up, baby. We got grades versus the Raiders. I got the top 5 offensive grades and the top 5 defensive grades. All right, and listen, I got some rising star players that I want to go through as well. We'll close off the show with that. But top 5 offensive grades. Brock Purdy. Let's talk about Brock Purdy a little bit. Brock Purdy came in looking like he ain't skip a beat. Actually, he looked like the beat was going on. Like he was on some whispers. And the beat goes on. Like this dude didn't miss. Like it was like he just finished the last game and he came in and he was already in sync. And I said that because I felt like Brock Purdy was delivering passes to every pass catcher on his team except for George Kittle. Like every pass catcher was getting targeted in this game, and he was throwing really good money ones. And it was one, in my opinion, that I thought should have been caught that was dropped. I understand a lot of people say, "Oh, he break, whatever." I don't care. His hands touched the ball. Got to catch the ball. And I know it came in hot. There was some pressure on Brock's face, but listen, got to be ready. Brock's got a fastball. Let's keep it a buck. Brock's going to throw some fastballs. Anyway, shout out to the top 5 offensive players. Brock Purdy with 90.5. DeMarcus Robinson with an 84.9. Ricky Pearsall with an 81.7. Robbie Chosen with a 79.4. And the highest offensive line man grade from this game was a 67.9. And that went to Drake Nugent, the backup center. So just round of applause, or the backup center, right? Third string center. Round of applause to those top 5 offensive grades. I know people are going to be like, well, damn, like if that was the highest offensive grade for the offensive line. The offensive line didn't fare well because they weren't really good in run blocking. We tried to run the ball. We just couldn't. If it wasn't like an explosive inside play, the Raiders did a really good job at taking away the outside zone from the 49ers, which is the Niners' bread and butter. And it's weird because last week they struggled against the outside zone. So I feel like they wanted the Niners to run outside zone plays so that they can see if they can get better at it. I really do believe that's kind of like what preseason be. Listen, these are my scripted outside zone plays. Good, because we need to see if we can stop it. They set the edge very well, the Raiders that be. And they were able to stop the outside zone. The Niners actually ran the ball, in my opinion, better inside. Crazy. Inside. So the offensive line, I mean, they didn't give up a lot of pressures, but the offensive line just wasn't that griggity great. Like, you know what I mean? Let's see, as far as pressures, they gave up 14 pressures. It wasn't a lot. They got to credit it for 1 sack. Isaac Alarcon got a credit for that sack, but, you know, it is what it is, you know. Now, that's just overall grade. A lot, and again, the pass blocking grades were relatively high. Like if I give you the pass blocking grades, Dominic Pooney had an 80. He was the first offensive lineman at the highest pass blocking grade for an offensive lineman. Jake Brendel was second with a 77.2. Colton McKivitz was third with a 75.9. And then Spencer Burford was fourth with a 64.5, and Drake Nugent 61.6. Pass blocking. So that's pass blocking. But overall, looking at the offensive grades overall, for offensive line grades for pass blocking, yeah, there you go. Just your offensive grades, period. But pass blocking, I feel like is getting better for the Niners. Run blocking is starting to be an issue, and I know our starting offensive line isn't out there, but that's kind of, it's not good. That's not good. Isaiah Prince had the highest run blocking grade, 79.4. Nick Sakel 75.6. Isaac Allerson 70.3. Drew Moss 69.1. Drake Nugent is 67.7. Drake Nugent also didn't play as many snaps as ever. That's probably why his grade was just slightly higher than some of the other dudes out there in the offensive line. But those are your offensive grades. Those are your pass blocking grades. Defensively, these dudes are showing up. Jalen Mahoney, 91.4. Chase Lucas is an automatic lock out there, 86.4. Luke Gifford, the linebacker, 82.4. Kalia Davis leading that front, the trenches up front, 79. Chaz Surratt finished with a 74.5 grade, 74.5 point grade. And Chaz Surratt was tied for tackles in this game. So I do want to put that out there. Tied for the most tackles in this game. All right, Chaz Surratt, tied for the most tackles in this game. So those dudes was out there balling. It's good to see them get out there and kind of fix some of the mental mistakes. And kudos to these players with relatively good grades. Relatively good grades. It's just interesting, I'm just going over the grades and I'm just looking at it. It's like, really, Drake Nugent was really number 5. Like, it's crazy. He also didn't get, no penalties. I don't think Isaiah Prince had the penalties on the offensive line. But the offensive line, to me, looked good and pass pro. They were kind of not good and run blocking. That's just the story. Let's get to the good, the bad, and the ugly. All right, this is my little recap segment of the show. We go over the good, we go over the bad, and then we go over the ugly of what happened. And I'm going to do this every Monday. All right, so just notice we're going to get in. Look, you can agree to disagree, and all comments are definitely welcome. I'm that type of person that'll listen. The only thing I ask is please listen to what I'm saying. Sometimes don't watch everything. Don't just put words in my mouth, because I kind of very deep. I'm a Capricorn, so I really like to give full metal description of everything. I like to break stuff down. All right. So anyway, let's go over the good. A lot of good from the 49ers in this game. I tell you what, there's more good than bad and more bad than ugly, which makes it relatively good, if that makes any sense. One of my keys to victory was that the Niners needed to control the clock. They needed to control the time of possession. And I know that's such an open kind of key, but I'm assuming my thing is, if the Niners are controlling the time of possession, if they are controlling the clock, they must be doing a couple of things right. And that's moving the football, getting long, sustainable drives, and, doing something with it. Now, can they get points out of those long drives? That's where the context gets a little bit tricky. So sometimes the Niners can have the ball, 11-play drive, 13-play drive, and result in 0 points or result in 3 points. And so that's where it gets tricky. But the good is they controlled the clock for 32 minutes and 24 seconds, which was almost maybe 5, 6, 7 more minutes than they did week 1 against the Denver Broncos, where they did not control the clock. So that was one of the things. I thought one of the key things to the San Francisco 49ers this week was their 4th down conversion rate. Now, look, I don't want the Niners going for it on 4th down 4 times a game, but god dang it, they went for it on 4th down for 4 times and completed all of their 4th down completions. Make that make sense. A couple of quarterback sneaks. They were getting it in. 4 for 4 is 100%. They were 100% on 4th down. So that's a great thing. Brock Purdy came out on fuego. I loved everything I saw from Brock Purdy. His tenacity out there, his playmaking, his fluidity, his mobility, his decision making. A couple of times he had to throw the ball away. You know what I'm saying? A couple of times he had to throw the ball away. And that's understandable. I mean, he had pressure in his face. They were definitely dialing up the pressure. Brock Purdy went 5 for 7 in this game. 5 for 7 for 66 yards. He averaged 9.4 yards per attempt. I mean, the dude is damn near right where he left off. He didn't throw any turnovers, so no interceptions for him. He finished with a 100.9 rating. I thought Brock Purdy just looked super poised back there. Even when he had to scramble, it was like, oh, snap. Brock, how can I explain it? Brock looked like he was a air flight control director out there, kind of telling, all right, man, I'm running this way, but all right, you go here. All right, cool. You ready? All right, cool. And he looked like he was in full command, and you need that. This is the NFL. Not every play your offensive line is going to be able to block for however many seconds for you to make your read and throw an accurate pass. No, you got to be able to do stuff on the run. You got to be able to be mobile. That's just what the NFL is today. And just watching Brock execute in that fashion, it made me say, this cat is ready. He is ready. And then it was more like, all right, I'm going to hit Ricky Pearsall a few times. All right, I'm going to spread it out to Demarcus Robinson. I'm going to get him involved. Right. And then one of his drops, the one drop, well, I don't know if they labeled it as a drop. Give me a second. I'll definitely check that. I don't know if they'll label this as a drop because the pass was a little bit high. But at the end of the day, I still liked what I saw from Demarcus Robinson. Demarcus Robinson, I thought he was the best wide receiver on the football field. In my opinion, I mean, Ricky Pearsall looked amazing. Don't get it twisted, but Demarcus looked like he was in midseason form. I mean, with the blocking, with extending the play. How about that play where he caught where he was definitely stopped for the first down and he just used the other players' momentum when they came to, wrap and tackle? He used that momentum to go ahead and get the first down. That's a crazy veteran move. Nope, they didn't credit that with. They did not credit that drop on Demarcus Robinson, even though I felt like he should have came down with that ball, because not catching that pass led to the Niners not converting in the red zone. It was just like they were in stride, they were moving, they were in sync. That one pass came in hot and high and whatever. So, but he did not get credited for the drop. So kudos to Demarcus Robinson. But there were 2 drops in the game. Only 2 drops. 2 drops. Isaiah Hodgins and Tariq Owens. They're the only players that had the drops. But again, I thought that Brock connected and made the right reads. Nothing was forced. He made the right reads. So again, we're still on the good. I told you, there's a lot of good to really get from this game. I mean, other than the fact that the 49ers won, which is great, is amazing, right? That was really good. All right, so Jeff Wilson Jr. This dude came in, newly signed Jeff Wilson Jr., newest running back on the freaking roster. Let's talk about Jeff Wilson Jr. because he's a 49er at heart. Like, just listening to him talk was like, damn, like, I wish you never left in the first place, but I get it. It's business. But he's a 49er at heart, wearing number 20 right now. I thought he looked really good out there. I thought he ran with good burst. He had good pop. How about the vision? And how about the strength around the goal line, being able to punch that ball and wiggle his way in against that defensive front? So I thought that Jeff Wilson Jr., he averaged, this is what I like to see, man. Not a big number, not a huge number. Yards after contact is something that I love. Only 1.38 yards after the contact. He did have 1 missed tackle forced. It's not really his game, but I thought overall, man, the dude was able to finish plays. He's able to finish plays. He played 9 snaps as far as rushing. He had 8 attempts. So he only averaged 2 yards per carry. And if you're looking at it from that standpoint, you got to look at how they utilized him. He also had a 9-yard run, right? So he had almost an explosive run. You got to get those 10. You got to get those 10, you know what I'm saying, them 10 yards, and I'll give you that explosive play. Like Corey Kiner had the 19-yard run, which was an explosive play. But he was almost there. He needed 1 more yard to be considered an explosive play candidate for me. But Jeff Wilson Jr. looked good, and I said that because this cat came in like right before the game. Literally right before the game. Came in right before the game and suited up and was ready to go. And all the injuries, right? So your starting running back is injured in Patrick Taylor. And then Keyshawn Vaughn is your guy. You try to mix in some Corey Kiner. Now he gets injured. He had a good game against the Broncos, so now he's done. And then it's Keyshawn Vaughn and Jeff Wilson Jr. Like the Niners literally had 2 running backs yesterday. Make that make sense. Keyshawn Vaughn, Jeff Wilson Jr. I only think one of those guys make this roster. Keyshawn Vaughn or Jeff Wilson Jr. Which guy do you think makes the roster? Keyshawn Vaughn, Jeff Wilson Jr. Let me know. Robbie freaking Chosen. Robbie Chosen. Who is Robbie Chosen? You know, Robbie Chosen reminded everybody, this is part of the good, he reminded everybody that if he can get in sync with the quarterback, it's a wrap. You saw a lot of miscommunication from week 1, and in week 2, he was targeted 7 times. He had 5 receptions for 92 yards. He led all pass catchers, receivers with 92 yards with a long of 30. Robbie Chosen, it's going to be interesting, I'm telling you, when it comes down to which veteran wide receivers is Kyle Shanahan going to keep. I like what I saw from Isaiah Hodgins. I think he caught a Brock Purdy pass. I like what I saw from Russell Gage Jr. I loved what I saw from Robbie Chosen. These are the veterans that are in the stable that, you know, Coach Hank's going to have to figure out which ones are going to make this roster. Robbie Chosen is putting up really good football film. And you saw the growth from game 1, where he was new to the team, not many reps, to game 2, where he got the reps and he was on the same page with his quarterback. I think that, to me, is what stood out, you know, the most. Robbie Chosen. Nick Martin defensively, switching to the defense. Like I said, a lot of good. And it's just good because I know a lot of people feel like I talk down about the Niners. No, I'm constructively criticizing so that these guys are just pointing out what I see. What I see could be wrong. But at the end of the day, these are just my opinions. Nick Martin, night and day. Night and day. I'll leave it at that. I mean, 2 missed tackles. I tell you what, he had 2 missed tackles against the Broncos. I'm going to be the bearer of bad news. He had 2 missed tackles again. But he looked so much more poised out there and was like the way he was diagnosing the plays and executing the plays was a lot better. And congratulate this kid for getting his first career sack. If we could congratulate NGNT for getting his first career touchdown, Nick Martin's going to get congratulated for getting his first career sack in the NFL, which is interesting because that means that the linebacker blitz is going to be in full mother-freaking effect this year. You guys have no idea how excited I am with Robert Saleh being back because of all the trickery that we're about to see. It's not going to be a lot. It's going to be timed trickery. I'm loving it. But Nick Martin, I thought, played. He also was tied for leading. I told you with team and tackles, he had 6 as well. I think 5 of them were solo tackles. Him and Chad Surratt, both linebackers, were definitely a wrecking crew out there. I thought all the linebackers, first of all, played well. Let me just say Tatum Bethune was definitely laying the pop down for sure. He was definitely click, booming cats out there, especially NGNT. And I love Curtis Robinson had a hard hit on special teams. Did you guys see that hit? Like these linebackers, listen, the 49ers, Johnny Holland and his linebackers are on a whole nother level this year. They're surging, and they're relatively healthy, and I think that's just making them play. I think they're trying to take Fred Warner's job. That's just what it is. And then the 2 interceptions, one from Chase Lucas, who is continuing to just trend upward. He's battling for that cornerback 3, cornerback 4 spot, guys. So like it's gonna be crazy. Cornerback 4, cornerback 5. How many corners are the Niners going to keep? If you cut Chase Lucas, he's getting picked up. He's having a tremendous camp. Do the Niners feel like he's expendable to do so? That's a question that we can talk about a little bit later. But I don't think the San Francisco 49ers should cut Chase Lucas. Renardo Green is dealing with a hamstring injury. All right. Deommodore Lenoir is going to be good to go. And so Trey Brown, is he outplaying Trey Brown? That's going to be a question, for the coaches to kind of really simmer saute through. They got to figure that out. I thought Trey Brown played really well. Dallas Flowers is playing really well as well. This is an interesting crew out there of corners. So the Niners got some corners, but the Jalen Mahoney interception is the interception that shifted the momentum and gave his team an opportunity to go out there to seal the deal. So we're going to stand up and applaud Jalen Mahoney, undrafted kid last year, safety, got cut this year. Yo, didn't we cut him? And we just brought him back. Maybe I got my people mixed up. I don't know. But this kid came out there, got the interception, and gave his team an opportunity to get, to get a victory. And he did. And last and certainly not least, the Jake Moody 59-yard field goal for the game winner. And I can't describe how awesome it was to watch the team rally behind this kid and really celebrate him in a preseason game. And I got a comment earlier that said on my Twitter that said, so now we're settling for mediocrity. No. Look, I don't think there's a perfect kicker in the NFL. Let me just be clear. There hasn't been one ever. The closest we had to that was a couple of years ago with Brandon Aubrey from Dallas, and even he missed. Now, I will say my expectations are for Jake Moody to definitely make his kicks. But when he misses, it's more what's the context behind it? How did he miss? And I'm not saying he can't make them. I want him to make these kicks. But here's what I loved about that. He missed a 53-yarder. First of all, he went 5 for 6. That's 83.3%. So that's pretty damn good. So he went 5 for 6 for field goals. The one he missed, though, was an ugly miss to the right. It was a 53-yarder, and he just pulled it to the right. His mechanic was off on that. That was on him. I don't know. It could have been on the Thomas Morstead holding the laces inside. I don't know. I'm going to put that one on him. He missed it. But here's what I loved. He made the ones after that. So that means through the adversity in the middle of a game, he was able to face it. Come here, adversity. Come here. I'm going to smack you in the face. And that's what he did. He smacked adversity in the face. And how did he do it? By not only kicking a 59-yard field goal, which was longer than the one that he missed, but doing it with the game on the line. These are the type of calluses that you got to build up in order to get through some rough patches. I ain't even get to the bad. I'm about to get to the bad. But when I get to the bad, you're going to understand what I'm trying to say, hopefully a little bit more clear. Because if certain situations didn't present themselves, Jake Moody wouldn't even be in the situation that he's in. Does Jake Moody got to kick these field goals? Absolutely, but he kicked it when it mattered. I'll say that. He made it when it mattered. How about that? So that's the end of the good. The bad, this is where the problem with the 49ers for me comes in. Third down conversions. All right. Now, look, I know Juwan Jennings is not out there on the football field. The Niners got to do a better job at finding their new Juwan Jennings. I do love Jordan Watkins when he comes back, but I don't know if he's going to be a third down guy. Where was Jacob Cowing? I know they didn't really insert him into this lineup or whatever, but we need a third down. We need a third down guy. We need a guy. The most impressive third down, the Niners went 3 for 12 too. That's 27%, by the way. That's better than what they did last week where they went 1 for 12, which was 8%. But damn, I mean, at least we're trending up. I could give us that. But from 8 to 27, nah, man. Hey, but maybe it's a trend in the right direction. So maybe next game they'll be 33% or 35% or 37% or 40%. Who knows? All I know is it's still not good to me. Still bad. Still not great, right? And so 3 for 12. It's slightly better than last week against the Broncos, but they got to be better on third downs. That 3rd and 18 with Brock Purdy at the realm lets me know that I'm not going to be too worried about the 49ers when they get into these third down situations. But why put yourself in the predicament of having to convert a third and forever? There's not a play for that other than a pass play that you hope you could take advantage of at some point. Eliminate those. Find ways to convert these third downs. The easier third downs, the 3rd and 7s, the 3rd and 3s, the 3rd and 2s, even if it's a 3rd and 9, like find a way to convert these third downs. It gives the team many more opportunities to get to the red zone. And the key is to get to the red zone. And then when you get into the red zone, you got to finish in the red zone. Speaking of red zone, there's my number 2 bad. 25%. The Niners were 1 for 4 in the red zone. They got their 4 trips. They only got 1 touchdown out of it. It was the Jeff Wilson Jr. touchdown. No bueno. The Niners got to be better in the red zone. Once they get that ball across that 20-yard hash, they got to figure out how to punch that joint in. And the Raiders did a good job. Their red zone defense was good, 25%. Niners red zone defense was good. I think it was 33% that they scored. But at the end of the day, the Niners have to figure out offensively how to punch the ball in for 6. For 6. Yeah, it's good to have a kicker that can make all their kicks for sure, and he has a long leg and he's accurate, no doubt. But you really only want to use the kicker when you have to use the kicker. I feel like the Niners offensively got to stop making boo-boos out there. My next joint, missed tackles. Look, I don't want to see any missed tackles, but this is football, and there's going to be some missed tackles. They went from 9 to 6. They got better. It's a slow progression, but it's better. I'll take it, but it's still bad. You got to find a way to wrap and tackle these football players in the NFL. Missed tackles lead to explosive plays because the remainder players on your team are just out of position. That's why tackling is important. D. Winters had one of the key tackles in this game. They ran an outside zone-ish kind of play where GNT could have cut in, and I'm going to tell you right now, the hole was as big as you entering the gates of heaven. The hole was huge, but the speed of D. Winters coming around was able to prevent the explosive play. I think it was for no gain. It was about to be a whole gain, and D. Winters saved that as a big play. So great job for D. Winters, but bad on the San Francisco 49ers because you can't miss these tackles. Tackles lead to explosive plays. Missed tackles lead to explosive plays. Penalties, still got to work on some penalties. It was good that the Niners didn't get their first penalty until a little bit later in the second quarter, but at the end of the day, 5 penalties for 30 yards. Niners got to eliminate penalties. They got to figure out how to play sound football. You got to be that person to where you limit or make as minimal mistakes as possible. So the Niners got to clean up those penalties. 5 for 30, a lot better than last week. So it's trending up. But hopefully this week, if we're in a trend up scenario, it's 1 for 10. You know what I mean? We'll see what happens. And then the turnover. We only had 1 turnover. Hey, you lose the turnover battle, you lose the game. The Niners did not lose the turnover battle. It was 1-2. So we won the turnover battle. We won the game. That Mac Jones turnover was ugly. You got to give kudos to their DB who just aided and abetted him to throw that football. That's what good safeties do. That's what good safeties do. They make you throw it to a spot where you really had no intentions of throwing it. That's what good safeties do. So that's the end of the bad segment. That's it. See? Good. Talked about it for a long time. Bad, not as long. Ugly, I'm not going to spend more than 30 seconds. The injuries are the most ugliest thing for the San Francisco 49ers. It's that simple. The Niners got to figure out how to, first of all, it's football, but they got to figure out how to kind of like negate some of these injuries without losing the way they play the game, the style they play the game, all that good stuff. I'm not blaming the training staff. I'm not blaming the fact that they don't freaking warm up and stretch. No. Injuries are going to happen. It's just the Niners got to figure out how to slow down some of these injuries. Because I'll say this. I do believe Kyle Shanahan when he says at least these injuries aren't as severe in their season ending. I'm with that. But what happens when another wave of players get injured? And now you got to go and find some other players to play the game. It's not going to be that simple. Kyle Shanahan's system isn't even that simple. So they got to figure out how to slow down some of these nagging injuries. Like the Dominic Pony literally got injured on a field goal attempt play. Like, how? I mean, I seen it, but dang, like really? Like that happened to us? I get the running back dislocating the shoulder, getting popped or whatever. It pops out. Cool, I understand that. High ankle sprains are going to happen. Usually those happen on turf more, but high ankle sprains are going to happen. It's just what's going on with the Niners. So don't feel like, you know what? I'm not telling you what not to feel like. That's my apologies, but I'm not going to feel too down about it because at least for me, the bright side is these players will return. And when they return, they will be healthy. With a healthy 49ers team, a healthy 49ers team is a dangerous 49ers team. I'll leave it at that. So that's the good and bad and ugly segment. And I appreciate you guys. Show me some love by hitting that like button, please. I'm going to drop the foghorn for everybody one time because the Niners did score 1 touchdown against the Raiders. The Raiders. Don't forget, check out my partners over at Residency. You see the Residency, www.residency.com. That second E is a 3. Use that promo code SFBreezie, guys, so y'all can save on your total purchase. Let's go rising stars from the game. Rising stars from the game. Now, make sure if you're watching this, you know what I'm saying, you input your rising star. I'm going to give you one. I'm going to do one offensively and one defensively. Is that cool? I'm going to keep it simple because I don't want to take everybody. All right? My rising star offensively was Robbie Chosen. I didn't even think he still had it in him. I did not. I did not think Robbie Chosen still had it in him. This cat had 5 receptions for mother freaking 92 yards. You giving me that from a kid that just came in off the streets? Sign me up. I think the Niners need to go with more of these veteran-based type of guys. If they're not costing us a lot of money, maybe Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, and them got the system figured out. Maybe they can go with some of those guys. It sounds like he's all in, too. And I mean all in mentally. Like, physically he's there, but mentally he's all in. I think he likes the rapport he has with Purdy and Mac Jones and Carter Bradley, who wasn't as bad as he was in that first preseason game. Bradley looked a lot better, but he's still terrible. But I think Robbie Chosen is going to be my rising star offensively. Defensively, I don't give what nobody says. I don't care if he had 2 missed tackles. What I saw from Nick Martin is what I expect to see every week. Dre Greenlaw used to have some missed tackles. At the end of the day, I need him flying around the football field and making plays. And that's what he did. On that linebacker stunt blitz, he got in and got the sack. I'm going to credit Nick Martin as a rising star. Now, I'm going to probably post more on Twitter, but those dudes, to me, definitely stood out. This is not a shot at Chase Lucas, who I think has been consistently balling, all right? But to see these players rise after having a down first week, can't wait to see what week 3 of the preseason is going to be like for the players that are really going out here trying to make a job. Let me know what you think of my Rising Stars Challenge players, man. I can't wait to hear what you guys got to say out there for these Rising Stars. Man, look, overall, man, I thought the 49ers played well. I can't wait to dive into the football film and kind of watch some of this stuff a little bit more in depth and give you some stuff for the Patreon this week. But I liked what I saw from the Niners. I like that they faced adversity. They fought it. They redeemed themselves. They got themselves a victory. They got it by any means necessary. And sometimes in the regular season, you're going to have to scrap, claw, eye gouge your way to a victory. And I thought the Niners remained in this game the whole game and found a way to be victorious. Clap it up for the San Francisco 49ers. I don't give a two flying if it's preseason. I needed to see this because I need to see what some of the other players are made of. We're not just a team built with rookies. We just have new players here. I want to see if they built with the same blood in their veins that we know that those core players for the 49ers have. The guys that have been here, put their blood, sweat, and tears, went to a couple of Super Bowls and lost. You can't say nothing to them. If you say anything about them, you're going to go, we going to fear one. You can't. You just can't. They've blood, sweat, tears. They've been to these places and lost twice. I already know how they feeling. But these new players, it's really good to see these guys come in and have that same red and gold blood in their veins, man. It's really good to see that. Shout out to the young players. Shout out to the new players. Shout out to the old vets. This is your boy, the Wayne Breezie, on the Wayne Breezie Show. Smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys on Friday. Peace.
What's up, faithful? Thanks for watching. Hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and make sure you check out some of the other cool videos.